Last month, my introduction to Mavi's music coincided with me seeing a tweet from him with a very revitalizing perspective that speaks well for his persuasions on his debut album. It feels weird using a tweet as the basis for any real analysis, but this one's a real corker, I promise. You'll conflate with nature being representative of science instead of vice versa, and suck the imaginative wonder towards the world that makes people do science in the first place out of everything. This is Let the Sun Talk.
Okay, the difference between a nigga like me and 100 million is a couple years.
While it would be a poorly easy move to immediately draw a large crayon line that connects the two circles that outline Mavi and a rapper whose name rhymes with curl wet squirt, it barely does anybody justice to blindly compare the two. I'd rather use this as an opportunity to highlight the beauty of this new, abstract, swirling space in hip-hop, carved out by artists like Earl, Mavi, Mike, the Slums group in general, and probably forebeared by rappers who have an off-kilter jolt in their step like Rich or Quelle Chris, Billy Woods, but I'm not here to just apprehensively read out a list of names like a substitute teacher. I think the general recalibration of the focus of hip-hop has been extremely refreshing, and I want to hear more of it because I don't even think the true potential has come close to being tapped yet, but we sure are getting close, and I don't have to doubt that they'll continue to thoughtfully approach this. Mavi crafts out some rhythmic patterns in his flow instead of writing out repetitious hooks, and his verses unravel continuously until he decides he's given you enough. His pace evokes the movement of a wanderer who occasionally stops to admire the scenery around him, which influences the breadth of his perspective. Might have to dig up the grave of the word wholesome and drop its corpse directly onto the table because I couldn't think of a better adjective myself. The album begins with Mavi's definition of what it means to be pro-black, but instead of dangling this in front of you like a bait worm and forgetting to throw it into the water, Mavi actively expands on this manifesto with personal anecdotes that spill the beans on race, family, feminism, mental health, money, sociopolitics, science, existence, love, all under the topical umbrella of pro-black unity, but it's not presented like a scatter of random beans in a bag. These topics are explored with links between each one, like a very nuanced network. There's a pivotal moment on the album's arguable centerpiece, the 5-minute Self-Love, with long-form verses about Mavi's mental health and its relation to his mother and his writing, of which the beat's sample repeats "Just Because I Love You," like a reminder that's floating in the background. It even occasionally aligns with Mavi's verse, which echoes the same sentiment.
She said it's just because I love you that I see you out here poisoning yourself and wanting for you, and I love you.
The pivotal moment in question on this track is indicated by the beat change, which is when the third verse begins, and if we are to let the sun talk, that's the moment on the album where it seems to happen. The sky feels as if it's opened, and the urgency livens in Mavi's voice as if he's rapping for his life. He concludes the track vitally: black men cannot expect liberty until they listen to and elevate their woman.
So when I offer free smoke to any nigga behind the Me Too, cause to my niggas, we ain't free until she free too. And to my sisters, we ain't free until they free too, yeah.
Mavi's overall message is direct, but if you took a fine-toothed comb and sifted through these verses for detail like lyrical head lice, you'd have a greater appreciation for Mavi's attention to language, and probably pick up quotes for the next hip-hop Twitter account's bio section. Kinda clenched my fist there, imagining somebody's profile patched with "I'm walking with a thing that keep a plane from taking off," but punchline or not, Mavi doesn't waste a bar, it seems. His own delivery style gives himself enough space to unravel each verse. The beats that he surfs ripple and shift in response to the arrival of Mavi's next train of thought, and supplement his enlightening words of compassion on love of money.
I don't even know if all these probes just work, bigger toys. I be talking shit that it ain't English words fitting for.
Or the pensive emptiness on Chiasma.
Y'all been thinking about how dreams end, and how my means end, and how I need friends, but hate niggas out.
The chirpy joltiness of Guernica contrasts the moonlit frost of Omavi. By the time that moonfire arrives, Mavi is able to unpack the stages of grief in 3 lines.
But the urn empty, I ain't got the burn in me. I even turn tipsy.
His wordplay establishes powerful connections between his personal experience and the greater concepts of family and culture that make Let the Sun Talk feel universal. He describes his degree in neuroscience as a degree in asking where do the secrets end, which by itself could be the line that defines Mavi as a rapper, if this album is any indication. It's that same imaginative wonder towards the world that fuels his compassion and a determination to pursue truth. To evoke pro-blackness, you can recontextualize historically black art forms like soul and hip-hop, which he does here, but even more so, your stories can evoke a sense of community, the kind that is formed in the face of an oppressive struggle. But Mavi is focused on the next step forward, not discouraged by the prejudiced force that resists them. He says the cold world just embraces us for the marketing, as if to bid warning advice to a close relative. If you are part of a marginalized group that can relate to Mavi's teachings, his observations feel closer to home. familial, a message for you to keep close by for when you'll next need it.
And it hit me, bro. I was like, bro, this has hit me from a black standpoint immediately. It just hit me. Like, Earl felt like family on here. He felt like one of my cousins.